Okay, hello. Welcome to Minions of the Zoo. I'm Terry. This is Jen.
Hey, hello.
Hello. And
YouTube's being a
so,
little weird.
yes, I see people in chat, so I figure we might as well just start now. There's no reason to sit around waiting for 15 minutes for the clock to tick over. So, the main thing that obviously we need to get out of the way is Hammer is in hospital but recovering. He had emergency surgery. I don't know a lot of details. It didn't really seem right to press him for details just out of surgery. So once he's a bit better, I'll have more to tell you. But uh, the good
I'm
news
trying.
is he's
I'm trying
alive,
to not
and
over worry about him anyway. I
yeah,
already
yeah,
am,
yeah,
but
exactly, yeah. But the good news is he's alive and recovering, and so yeah, um, that's probably the best outcome that we could have hoped for. So yeah, hopefully he will get well soon.
yeah, I didn't want to sound cold there. I was really glad that he got a hold of you. But imagination land, when you don't have somebody talking back, is the worst part of it. So
Oh
I was
yeah,
just
yeah,
glad to see he said something. I'm like, I don't. It's not that I don't want the details, Hammer. It's just worry land is crappy.
yeah. Well, I have the male debuff when it comes to that thing. It's like I just assume he'll be fine unless he tells me that he won't be. So if he's like, no, this time it's really bad, then I'll worry. But if he's like, no, I'm recovering well, I'm like, okay, I mean, you know how well you're going. I'll just be like, okay, I'll take you at your word and assume that everything is going in the right direction.
Yep. That's what I actually like about men is that you can do that. You can cut through the crap.
Yes, it's kind of a necessity to be able to do that. And like going back to like prehistoric times, men needed to be able to do that. So it's kind of like an evolutionary thing that has still in place today.
It is something I try to mimic, even if I fail. Like I know there's some traits that men have that are better, that they're just better at, but I don't think it's a bad one to try to mimic sometimes, as long as I'm not
Yeah.
taking it too far. Because
Well,
yeah, there's a well, for me it's talking too much too.
uh, well, I mean, it's talking too much is a good thing if you're a streamer. Let's be real. That's probably a benefit. But no, I mean, as much as I troll that I don't like women, women are actually good at things. I like to pretend that men are like better, but really, you do need both men and women. Like, don't think that should be too controversial of a stance to take. Um, Blue Eyed Scream is saying at least he was able to poke his, I'm guessing, head up.
Yeah, that he could say
He was
something to
able
us.
to get in touch with us, send us all DMs. So I am glad he was able to do that. And apparently, Silver Ravenwing is a little baby. He is 10 years plus younger than some of us. So I don't know. I don't know how old he is, but sounds sounds like we got a youngin. And Blue Eyed Scream says she's a woman, so she'll worry. Yeah, I mean that's good though. That you need women to be that way because you guys need to be the counterbalance when it comes to raising children. Oh, Silver Ravenwing is 35, so yeah, I am 10 years older than him.
It's the thing that I've noticed as I've gotten older, Terry, that yeah, I will worry. And the worst thing with worrying is your brain will just make up shit. So
Yes,
that's
it
the
will.
stuff that I try to counter now. I'm like, okay, listen, you don't know what's going on. You know that he's kind of an older guy in and out of the hospital. You know there's a good chance the Wi-Fi could also be shit.
Oh yeah, guaranteed. If he's using hospital Wi-Fi, it's not good Wi-Fi.
you know?
So no, I mean, I'm glad he was able to get a message out to us, let us know things are going in the right direction is probably the best way to phrase it. But yeah, I'm glad he's on the mend.
Yeah.
Till person is at the age where he stops keeping track of his age. I mean, I forget my own birthday. I'm like, I used to think it was like silly that my dad would forget his birthday and I had to remind him. But now I'm doing it. Like, it'll get to like November and I be like, oh shit, my birthday's coming up, isn't it? It's like I'll just like be surprised that every November that I'm actually having a birthday.
At least it's better than last time. Last time he had medical stuff going on. I was
Yeah,
so hysterical, Terry, that I went to Eve because I was like, Eve is the only one that I know who kind of, it's not that she's buddies with everybody. She tends to have most people's contacts somehow.
yeah, yeah.
And she's like, Jen, the only time you talk to me is when you're sobbing. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, Eve. And she told me to tell Hammer, like, every time he pulls this shit that they have a contract. And Hammer's just like, we don't really have that great of a
Yeah,
relationship. And I'm like, I know, but she has a whip, okay?
yeah. She's the information source.
But
Um,
I didn't do that this time. I figured
no, I
I'd be
mean,
strong for Hammer.
no, I mean, like I said, it is good that women are the more prone
Yeah.
to worrying about these things, because if you're raising a kid, you need both parts of the equation. You need someone who will be soft and compassionate when they need that, and someone who will be a little more like tough love kind
Mhm.
of. You can get through this man up, or like toughen up kind of thing. You really need both sides of it. Otherwise,
It
if you don't have a male and female influence, the babies don't grow up as well.
it was probably a little bit emotional for my dad, but it was something I wanted to say to him this year because this last year he's been in and out of the hospital too, and
Oh dear.
it's heart stuff. So
Oh,
like
of course.
he has surgery, and then he thinks he's fine, and then they're like, no, there's a little bit more they got to do, and it's given him a few scares too. And so
Mm.
like back during the summer when he had the first of like the worst of the lot, and I looked at him, I said, Dad, there were times in my life where I didn't understand why you had to be tough about certain things, and it
Yeah.
really did take me until adulthood to understand. And it
Oh,
was
absolutely.
it was it was literally still it was as sad as, like, he was actually the guy to be there to put down all our animals. He was there to sit with them. He was there to make the decision. He was there to make sure that they were comforted and they weren't alone.
Mhm.
And I think there was a certain sense as a kid that you take that for granted, or to a certain extent, I resented a little bit for Trenny because he didn't explain that one very well when I was
Yeah, yeah.
6.
But I
But
mean, that's what I mean. Is like you need a man who will do that kind of thing without letting the emotion get to him the way that like it would get to a woman
yeah,
most of the time. They would have a much more
well,
difficult time putting down an animal.
it's actually worse than that, Terry. The amount of times I've seen older women carry on with their pets where it's to the point where you're like, you're actually abusing your animal now.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I turned to my dad and I'm like, that's why I thanked him. I was like, you taught me something valuable, even if I don't like that lesson.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is a valuable lesson. I mean, I've had pets before that needed to be put down, and yeah, I mean, as harsh as it comes across, sometimes it really is the best thing for them to just stop the suffering. Um, yeah, I mean, it's unpleasant. I mean, I have more direct experience with it because that's basically what happened with my dad. Is that he got to the point where he just decided it's not worth it anymore, and like I can't hold that against him. He was the one who had to live with it, and he decided that he didn't want to anymore. So it's like, that's not an easy decision to make, but I supported him. It's like what he wanted.
It's why I was glad to say something too, because it's stuff that I do think women take stuff like that for granted sometimes. I don't think
Yeah,
I'm the only woman who says that kind of thing. I've seen that so often the last couple of years that I was just like, nah, I'm gonna thank my dad for something that,
yeah.
yeah,
Um,
because
no, I mean, I'm honestly grateful for both of my parents. I mean,
mhm.
all three of my parents, if you count my stepdad, because I'm also grateful for him. But um, no, I would not be the person I am now without all of their influences. So yeah, it's something that's always good to recognize is when you've had good parents that you know that is a very very good thing to have.
I love my mom too. It's just I think
Of
our
course.
clash is something that I don't think she's really ever really acknowledged. And
Hmm.
I didn't want to tell her this in front of my dad because he knew that I knew.
Hmm.
She's kind of struggled with the idea that I might be mildly autistic. I'm not
Oh, okay.
saying that to make a big stink about it, but she was like, "You have slow learning in your learning." You know, like she went back through my school testing and stuff like that, and I'm like, "Mom, you got to look up what that means because that's a sign of low func. It's a sign of autism, not low functioning, but it's a sign. It's one of the traits in autism."
Yes.
And I'm just like, it's my resentment towards the 80s and the 90s and current day has fucked up women like my mom. Like they don't understand any of that stuff because when they think autism, they actually think the low functioning.
Yeah. I mean, see, I'm different because like when I think of autism, because most of the people, like the autistic people that I know, are very high functioning, like
Mhm.
sanguine.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I forget that there's also the very low functioning autists who, well, they struggle with a lot of things in life. But yeah, because the autistic people I know are the high functioning ones, I have the opposite problem. I forget that there's low functioning autists as well.
It's never been such a big deal that like I can't sort of function with it. It's just it's like anything in life. You it does become a little bit harder to struggle with as you get older, but
Yeah,
like I'm still doing all right with it. It's more of just like I've learned more about how to deal with this shit from meeting people who have autism
yeah,
than my actual school system because they weren't like now where they hyper focus on it. And I think I've always thought like the problem is it's both parties. Like you need to you need to focus on it enough to make it function so that you can function in life, but you don't
yeah,
need to hyper focus on it so much that it becomes a crux.
yeah, yeah. Just to go through some of the chats because people have been talking.
Mhm.
Um, okay, so JB said, if you forget your birthday, do you stop existing? Fortunately, not. Otherwise, my dad would have disappeared well before he actually did. So, thankfully, that is not how that works. Um, been saying losing a pet sucks balls. Yes, it absolutely does.
Yeah.
Hello to Shio. Haven't seen Shio in a while. Good to see you in chat. Silver Raven Wing says everything in Australia is trying to kill me. Yeah, I mean that's part of the point.
Yep.
What else we got? Yeah, I think that's basically all of it. Oh, and I think Blue Eyed Scream was saying that Hammer is older than us. Is that yeah? He's got almost 20 years on me, so he's about the
I
same age as my mother for reference.
I'm not sure who is the oldest because it's like I can't remember Harry's age. I don't want to throw him under the bus. Sorry, Harry. I just don't know. I
Yeah,
remember talking to you a few times. I know you're older than me, but you know. And then there's Prospero, and she jokes about being the oldest, but I don't necessarily think that's true. And
hmm.
then
I think
uh,
Skep might be older than
yeah, that's who I
Hammer.
was thinking. Not to throw anyone under the bus because this is with
Oh,
respect, you know, to all our,
I
to all our
mean, this is not throwing someone under the bus. This is just acknowledging their age. Is like
yeah.
I don't think I don't think Hammer's the oldest. I think Skep is, but I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong on that. I haven't kept track of everyone's ages all that well. So, if someone in chat knows differently, then let us know.
It's not even that it's an important thing. It's really just the Canadian me being like, have I been polite to people properly? I know I'm in the age group where I have a little bit more wiggle room for slang, and most of the
Yeah.
elders that I know are from America, so they absolutely have more leeway for slang.
Yeah. Oh, and someone in chat is saying, "What is Rassafrassa?" That's just meant to be the sound of someone muttering to themselves, like Rassafrassa. That kind of sound. I was trying to capture that sound and express it in letters. That's all that is. And apparently, Shio is well younger than everyone, which I actually thought he was about my age. So that's interesting. Interesting to learn. And JB is the oldest. He's 42,069. I think you just wanted to type the funny number. I think that's all that is. And yes, sort of like Muttley from Dastardly, from Dick Dastardly. Yeah, that kind of sound, just like muttering to yourself.
I also said this on the other stream I was on. I don't necessarily feel my age. Like there's some things that get to me, yeah. Like if it went down to -24. It's bullshit outside, Terry.
Oh God.
It's why I'm ordering out for dinner. I'm like, I'm not doing shit. I'm not leaving my house.
If
But
it was that cold, I wouldn't either.
but it's a bit of a slip and slide outside, and some of it's covered in snow. And if I fall down, it does hurt a lot more than it did when I was in my 20s. It doesn't mean I hurt less in my 20s. I just find it's harder to recover. Like it just takes an extra day
Yeah.
longer to really get over it. And if I really hit my back, I don't know how I did as a kid because I was into gymnastics as a kid. I was climbing
Yeah.
trees and trying to get onto the roof and shit. So I know I was taking falls. But
As,
no, that is getting 40. But
yeah. As you get older, then your body is less able to withstand these things. It's like if the stuff that happened to me when I was, like 15 happened to me now, I'd be in hospital. Like I don't think I would have the physical capacity to withstand what I went through when I was younger, because I'm not younger anymore.
well, we also, I mean, between you and I, we really don't do a hell of a lot of the shit we used to do when we were that age either. So,
Yeah, exactly.
like,
Yeah.
I've lost a lot of that anyway. But here's the thing, I'm not so old that if I didn't become a little bit determined, I couldn't get. You're not getting all of it back. You're not turning back time, but you can recover some of that because it's muscle density. Like you do lose some as you get older, but I'm in my 40s. That's not gone. It's just I'd have to get off my ass and stop being a lazy bum.
Well, yeah. I mean, if I wanted to, I could like start exercising and start losing weight, but I'm not going to do that because that would take away time from my video games, and it's all about priorities.
For me right now, it's I still don't like the idea of a gym because I actually came to two conclusions. One, yes, the camera thing is new. I definitely don't like that. That was added as a big no on my list of things for why I don't want to go. For two, I actually like getting exercise outside more than in the gym. If you think about a gym as being a space that, yes, they keep clean, there's still basically a square mall with people sweating. So I think it hypes up my allergies and I end up feeling like shit. So I'm like, I'd rather get exercise outside. Here's the thing. It's not that it's crap outside all the time. It's crap often enough that it fucks with my schedule. Like I'm not going outside right now.
Well, I mean, with me, my exercise regimen is that I don't have a car. So if I want to go somewhere, I've got to walk there. And I mean, I don't have to go many places, but the rare times that I do, I walk. And so that seems to be doing a decent enough job of keeping my weight stable.
Walking's actually not bad. I mean, there's a reason why they have a machine that's just walking.
Yeah. So, like maybe once or twice a week, I'll have to go to the supermarket and buy stuff. So that's like a half-hour walk. It's like, 10 minutes to the supermarket, 10 minutes walking around, getting stuff, 10 minutes walking back. That's like half an hour of walking, maybe twice a week. So, I do get some exercise. It's just begrudging. It's like when I've run out of something, like, nah, crap, I've got to go buy stuff again.
I was going to say sarcastically, what you should do is you should get a camel so that way you can fit in.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, the Muslims are not that prevalent in my particular area. There is obviously a Muslim problem in, well, the world. But my area, it's more of the like Southeast Asians, like the Chinese and the Koreans and Malaysians, and that kind of part of Asia, rather than like Pakistan. And don't get me wrong, we got some of those too, but it's more the other kind of Asians.
Yeah, the other ones that are a little bit, they're not as bad. They really aren't. They're not as dumb, but that doesn't mean that they can't change a culture.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm absolutely in favor of getting all of them out. don't care. I don't care what variety of Asian you are. I'm quite happy to see you leave my country. But if they said no, you have to choose, then I'm picking the non-Muslim ones.
Well, Shio, you're not supposed to fit in the camel. I know you're thinking that this is like a car. No, he's still going to ride the camel. I was just thinking it's a thing that spits at people. So
Yeah,
therefore it helps to encourage people to stay away from Terry. So he's still accomplishing his I don't need to
yeah.
be around people thing, but he's just going to the store. And
And
then no one's
Shia
just going
says
to steal it.
Shia says I should get a car. I mean, I wouldn't be able to drive it if I got one, so that's probably not a very good solution.
Also,
I've never done a single driving lesson. I don't have a license. Me behind the wheel of a car would be a mistake.
so you could just point a carrot in the direction that the camel needs to go. You'll be
Yeah,
fine.
much better. Quippers, as in Jack Gunsky, has said, is Hammer still MIA? Yep, he's in hospital. We covered that at the start. He's had emergency surgery, but he does seem to be recovering well. I'll have more information next week, I'm sure, but it didn't really seem right to like hound him for details, like when he's fresh out of surgery. So I'll I'll get in touch with him when he's feeling a bit better and see if I can find out more for people.
Yeah, Artalu, just so you know, if you ever go to a zoo with camels, stay back because they actually do have a range for how far they can spit, and it's a defense mechanism. They are
Of
doing it
course,
on
yeah.
purpose, so
Yeah.
they're good at it, and it's a lot. So yeah, you'll be like, oh, what a cute camel! They look so nice, and then you're covered in slime.
Yeah. I would not want to go near a camel in real life. And also because I haven't said hello to Tia in chat.
Hi, dear.
And hello to Gunsky, and I think I saw Corsten in there as well that I haven't said hi to.
Yeah, llamas are bad too. My understanding is the only one that's kind of nice are the alpacas. They can still spit, but you really, really have to aggro them to get them to do it.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just generally not much of an animal person. Like, my family has like pets, so when I go to visit, like I kind of find them annoying. But like they're cute if I'm looking at pictures of them on the internet, but in person, yeah, I don't like it when like the dog licks me and I don't know. They shit everywhere. It's just I would rather no people and no animals in my like perfect world, but
I can't justify an animal right now. My apartment's a too small, and between my brother and I, it's not good. Like I keep it sort of clean, but it's hard to keep it clean with the two of us. And I have a theory that animals don't deserve that any more than you don't do that to kids, you don't do that to animals.
Exactly. Yeah. But despite what I just said, if it comes down to Muslims or dogs, like it seems to be the argument on Twitter.
Oh, I'll take dogs any day.
Dogs 100% of the time. No question.
I say that above everybody else. Like if you're the kind of bitch to be like, me or the dog, well, I'm taking the dog.
Yeah. Any kind of ultimatum, I will side against the person making the ultimatum. So if it's like me or the dog, it's the dog. It is like me or the video games, it's the video games.
Like the only time I can understand somebody giving up their dog is because of something that's outside of their realm of power. Like, so my parents got their dog from a family whose infant baby was just really allergic, like severely allergic. So they had to get so they had to get rid of their dog. Did they want to? No, they really genuinely loved that dog. So they put in effort to find a good family. My parents got the dog.
Think in terms of priorities, you do need to put the baby ahead of the pet. That like should be common sense to everyone.
But like I've seen so many other stories where the opposite, like the extreme opposite story of douchebaggery when it comes to animals. I'm like, if you can't keep an animal, don't get one. But
yeah,
I admire the people in my life who have them.
Yeah. And she is saying that his cat is better than everyone else. It's like, yeah, I think you're supposed to have that attitude. Like the fact that I wouldn't have that attitude is why I don't have a pet. Like, I don't think I would be a good pet owner because I'd be like, oh, now I've got to feed the damn thing. Now I've got to like clean the litter box. Oh god, it never ends. So I would not be the ideal pet owner. But for those who like animals, yeah, I mean,
It's fine, Terry. The closest thing to a pet that you need in life is Pokemon. Then all you need is Nurse Joy.
yeah. I mean, if Pokemon were real, I wouldn't want one as a pet, but I would still enjoy playing the video games where I am beating up people using Pokemon. So
I just had to
and,
throw that out as a joke because it's funny.
yeah. Blakester says, "Does anyone remember Conan the Barbarian?" I remember that he exists, but I have not seen the movies. One thing people will discover with me is if you start the question with "Have you seen this?" and you're about to name a movie, 99% chance the answer is no, unless the movie's title starts with Monty Python and.
So what you're saying is we should throw that one as a suggestion for Frosted for one of your movie nights. I don't even watch those, so I know I'm not really supposed to do that, but every once in a while.
I can't watch the movie with Frosted anymore because I deleted Discord. Yeah, it won't do much good having him play Conan the Barbarian as the movie of the week because I still won't be there to watch it.
I don't blame you. I know stuff was going on with Discord. I'm just not sure what I'm going to do because I'm on so many Discords that I would feel bad if I didn't know a place to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I already hated Discord before they started doing the ID bullshit. And then when I thought about it, the things that I use Discord for, I can either do without or do a different way. So, like, I used to talk to Tia about, arranging our matches against each other. We both have Steam. I don't need Discord to talk to Tia about, uh, you know, what board game or what fighting game we're going to play this week. I can just message him on Steam. Same thing. And so, yeah, the only thing I'm really missing out on is the movie with Frosted. And, kind of ashamed to miss out on it, but overall, it's not something that I'm, devastated by.
Yeah, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not surprised. Like Discord's been on this move for a really long time. Like they really want to have the ability to seek out people's personal information. And I can understand if you had signs of being a criminal, yeah, I could understand that. But they're doing this to everybody. And I'm like, no, yeah. I'm not okay with that. That's not how that system works. It's never been how the system works. If you genuinely think that somebody is doing something wrong with children, yeah, go ahead, investigate them. But that's not what this is. This is an invasion of privacy. And yeah, no.
Well, someone pointed it out. Is like with the teen by default, you're basically saying any adult who doesn't prove their age is going to get to hang out with the kids. So all a pedo has to do is not verify their age and they get put in the same group as all the underage kids. Does that sound like it's protecting kids? Of course not. It's never been about that.
It's also one of the things with Discord is kind of like a lot of platforms. I don't think it initially started off with kids in mind in the first place. A lot of these sites start off with like actually adults, and then kids creep in because they end up being like cool kind of sites, or they're like, yeah, this is what the adults are doing. So it's another one of those things where like I'm really, really sorry that your parenting skills don't have you keeping track of where your kids actually are or what sites they're using. And I'm actually really tired of that because Discord, I've only been on like maybe 4 or 5 Discords where they didn't have a not safe for work. Those always have a lock. You have to prove to a mod or the owner that you are of age. And that's usually done personally between you and them. And to a certain degree, I agree with that too, because yeah, there are stupid kids who'll get into Discords or whatever. They'll get into any site,
I mean, all they've got to do is click the I am 18, and I guess you are. Let's get you that porn.
But they know that. And that's the thing that pisses me off is they do know that. They do know that you can lock down all that stuff and make a person prove that they are who they are and keep track of all that stuff. So at least the site owner isn't liable for some stupid kid.
Yeah. I mean, I saw in chat, was it R2 Litu said that it's not Discord's job to parent children or the government's. Well, exactly. That's it. It's the parents' job to parent the kids. And they don't seem to be doing that. So I think that is the bigger problem, is that parents aren't parenting.
And in all honesty, I am in the group now where, like, yeah, I was on the internet as a 15-year-old. Somehow, some way, every generation, and I don't want to be that boomer, but a lot of the new generation, some kids are okay. A lot of them are so immature that they're barely above 14 mentally. You know,
See, I outsmarted the system. By being born in 1980, by the time Australia got easy internet access, I was already an adult. So I just, my retarded teen years have never been exposed to the internet. They can be safely forgotten. No one can dig them up because there's no online record of any of it.
But that's actually where I'm at, though, Terry. It's because so many parents right now are actually in the same age group that I am in, and technically you're in,
Yeah.
that we know all the flaws of what happened with the internet when we were growing up. This idea that these people don't parent their kids more on the internet or limit where they can go, like, that's not new. It's never been new, and it's not my job anymore. If you can't handle parenting, maybe you guys should lose your internet for a year or something.
Yeah. I think V is right when he says when the internet first was a thing, like 30 something years ago, people were like warned, don't put your personal information on the internet, don't trust anyone. The internet is extremely dangerous. And now it's like we demand you reveal all your personally identifying information right now. It's like, no, I don't think I'm going to be doing that.
And I think that's similar for a lot of people. Silver Raven Wing. Most of us didn't really start like the internet until we were like, I was 15, but like 15, 16 isn't that big of a difference to me in terms of time stretch. Like it is different, but
I was like 19 by the time, because I think Australia didn't really get easy internet access until like really late 90s. So I remember like I finished high school in 1998, and I think I was at uni in 1990. So I would have been like 18 to 19 when I went to university. And that was when I had my first internet access at like 18 or 19.
I think it's one of the benefits of being Canada and not Australia is being right next door to America. We had to keep up. It wasn't a question of do we want to? It was we kind of have to.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean everybody, like, I mean, I'm from a big city, so you know what I mean when I say big cities still end up having more, at least a little bit better internet than necessarily smaller towns.
Of course, yeah. It's common sense that they're going to have better networking at the places where more people are. That's just like, I would hope that every business would operate in that way. That's just like common sense.
Yeah, we've always had fairly okay internet. At best, there was this era of like, cable versus internet, and then, where you got your sources from and whether or not it was legal. We never got into anything illegal. I just remember that was the era of it.
And she says, make sure you don't copy that floppy. I don't think we ever got that particular messaging down here, but I have heard that phrase before.
Yeah.
And Blue White Scream was in her early 20s when she got internet access. That makes sense because I think you're like a couple of years older than me. I mean, I'm assuming you were born in 76 based on your name, so you'd be about 4 years older than me.
It was a little bit different in the 80s. I would say that it's not that parents didn't let their kids roam. They knew where their kids were, but you could tell because of bicycles.
Yeah.
I know it sounds stupid, but like Legitimately, you knew where my brother was because it'd be the same 8 bikes on a lawn, and you knew which one was his.
Yeah. Um. Plus, there was a lot less wrapping everything in bubble wrap, sort of like to protect the kids. Like you were allowed outside and just to do whatever you wanted. At the least, I was. Is like if I was inside the house, there's like it's a beautiful day. Get out of the house. Like as opposed to today, where it's like don't you dare leave the house without 12 security guards and the police escort.
It's also like the size of the towns might be different too. Like, between you and I, Terry, like, yes, our towns or our cities seem huge because that's what we grew up in. But
Yeah,
in comparison to what it was like when I was a kid, yeah, no, Calgary was a significantly smaller city. It was more there was more farmland to city ratio. Some of the
yeah,
parts of the town were a little bit out of the skirts. So you talk about certain certain cul-de-sacs as being out of skirts kind of people. At least that's my dad's jokes. Um, and then now, like, we are 3 times 4 times the size in terms of population and growth. So nowadays, yeah, no, you're not letting your kids out because you can't
well, I
you
mean,
can't help that a bigger city does have more crime.
also back then we didn't have a whole bunch of migrants from third world
Mhm.
countries imported into ours, making it much less safe for kids to go roaming around.
Well, that
Uh,
and I know that the asylums weren't always good places. I'm not naive or stupid or that lacking in history. The fact of the matter is we let all our mentally ill out onto the street too, and they
yeah,
self-medicate as their way of dealing with it.
yeah, yeah.
So,
I
like,
think Make Asylums Great Again is a great campaign. I think you do need to start putting crazy people away, like start doing it again because it's not safe to have them roaming the streets. It's just not.
it's not safe for them, it's not safe for other people. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Um,
almost a cruelty, and I do understand. Like, I actually do have a history of not necessarily trusting caregivers because you can see what they still do to elderly people, and I think they're disgusting and should go to jail. I
yeah.
would like to have a system where we have checks for those kind of people so that the people that you're sending to places where they can get care, so that they're
Well,
taken care of and
yes.
they're not a harm to anybody. That's actually what's happening. And no, they're not being abused by psychopaths.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, what I've noticed is the left likes to do things that feel good rather than do good. So that's why they do things like, well, if we raise the minimum wage, that feels like a nice thing to do. Yeah, but it doesn't actually do anything good. Doesn't matter. I feel good. I feel like a good person for advocating for this. In the same way that, well, I feel like a good person if I say that people shouldn't be confined to an asylum. It doesn't matter that it makes society measurably worse. I feel like a good person, and that's what's really important. It's like, hmm, that's my biggest problem with leftist policies is that they don't work, but people want to feel like good people, and so they
it's
pretend that
also,
this is how to do it.
they also have a blank spot for how they're feeling good is also being done at the expense of other people.
Yeah, they don't
Um,
care.
like, they don't care about the victims at all. They don't
No,
care how this, it's, a lot of stuff did happen in my province, but the one I'm actually focusing on is the one in the US. Like, that poor. So I know you heard about the shootout that happened in the US at the hockey rink. Um,
there's been so many that I kind of they blend together, but I'm sure I did hear about this particular one at
it's
some point.
basically every story this week has been about the police hiding the fact that the perpetrator is trans.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
and
yeah.
then and this latest one is, so yeah, the guy was crazy. He was probably a schizophrenic because he was in and out of liking Trump and hating Trump and liking Nick, and I think people think he wanted to fuck him.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. Now I know the guy that you're talking about because yeah, he Asmongold did a video about it.
and all I could think of is, like, it was actually his family that he shot, and 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 the poor woman that's trying to deal with it all is his surviving daughter, who probably had to deal with his bullshit. and her family's just been torn apart because like he shot her mom, probably her sister, because like my understanding is he has multiple kids and it looks like different wives.
Okay.
You know, he shot his son, and she's the one left to pick up the pieces. And like the lefties are just like, oh well, you know, he was a Trumpster. They don't know how to deal with this guy because he,
Yeah.
you know, and then you look at the stories that were happening up in Alberta. Every single one of them is somebody who's dealing with so many other mental health problems. Like they're schizophrenic, they're pumping them up full of hormones, and then they go crazy and shit. And I'm just like, they don't give a shit about the families at all.
No, of
And,
course not.
and that's why I hate them, because they're like always about, you know, morality and about sympathy and
Oh.
so I'm not crying or anything. I'm just saying to this poor lady who probably is never going to watch this. I wish the best for you, because like the world sucks. It's not your fault that your dad was mentally ill. We do need asylum so that if you know that the person that you're dealing with is actually dangerous, you can send them somewhere where they're not going to be.
Of course, yeah. Again, I think that should be common sense that if someone is dangerously mentally ill, that you should have a place to confine them in, and you know,
I'm trying not to hyper focus on her either. It's just her story kept coming up this week, and I'm like, oh, you poor lady.
Yeah. And Silver Ravenwing says the Predator with the SS and skull tattoo. I believe that is the one that is being referred to. Yeah, because as Asmongold was making like a list of all the attributes, because there's like so confusing.
It was funny. It was, at least he makes things tolerable. Like a lot of these topics are bullshit, but he makes them tolerable to watch.
Yeah, so I like that.
That's why I like watching him. I'm like, you can at least make me laugh at something that's heinous.
Yeah. Oh, and hello to Six in chat. Yes.
Hi, Six.
No hammer this week. Six.
He's gonna get better. He's you know, in the space he's in, and hopefully he's sleeping.
And yes, Silver Ravenwing says every trans shooter has been a closet Trump supporter when it comes out. Oh, he donated to Axe Blue. Yeah, I mean, I think there tends to be a skewing of more leftists are going to be trans people than right wingers. It seems like the further left you go, the higher the incidence rate of transgenderism. And yeah, that the ice hockey dude obviously belonged in an institution. Absolutely, yeah, that goes nuts.
Yeah.
And R2 Litu says, same for the guy who unalived Irina Zarutska. I don't know. Are you not allowed to say kill in chat? That sucks. But yeah, no, that Irina Zarutska is like baffling that anyone would not be on her side of things and just easily see that this is a psychotic lunatic who just stabbed her for no fucking reason.
It's one of those eye openers where you realize that the left is so hypocritical in their own beliefs that even they can't see that they dehumanize this woman. Like they all just assume she's American because she's white. Yeah. They all just assume that she deserves it because she's white. There's no way that you could have sympathy for her having, you know, any kind of sympathy. Like, yeah, she is from a war zone. Ukraine is in the middle of a war, even if I want to stay out of their war too. doesn't mean that I don't have sympathy for shit that they are going through, you know?
Of course.
I do believe some of the images of buildings being blown up, Terry. I don't think all of that is AI. I don't think all of it is hype from propaganda and stuff. So like, yeah, she was fleeing bullshit, and and they just care about the fact that the offender was black. And I'm like, and even then,
exactly.
I don't think they care about the offender, because if they did, they would know that re-releasing him all the time is why he's fucked up.
Yeah, no, they don't care about him. They care about him being black.
Mm-hmm.
Like it could be any black person, and they would react the exact same way. They don't care about that prick as a human being. They just say, "Ooh, he's the right kind of person. We forgive his crimes."
And I think it's one of those things that it's not just asylums, it's actually having the proper conversation about mental health. Because
Yeah.
one of the things that the left has done is they've painted this brush that, so it's not the only story with black people lately, but it's one of those ones where you notice that they don't believe that black people can have mental health problems. They think that's all
Yeah.
systemic racism. And I'm like, well, if it's systemic racism, then doesn't that mean that they still have mental health problems?
No. That's very bigoted of you, Jen. How dare you? How dare you imply that a black person could ever have any negative qualities whatsoever?
You know, and it's so fucking cruel. It's actually really fucking cruel to assume that somebody doesn't have problems or they don't need help. Does that mean
Yeah.
does that mean it's an excuse to cause harm to people? No, it's not. And that's the other issue, is this idea that you have a problem, it's okay for you to cause harm for people. No, it's not. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't have had some sympathy beforehand, which they're too late. They're too late.
Yeah.
He's gone. His brains are gone.
I think this is the communist subversion that what's his face I forget Yuri Bezmenov, that's him. That guy warned everyone in the 80s, and this is what he was warning us about. No one did anything to stop it because it was already too late. The rot had already set in by that point. It was the people who could have prevented it were the ones who wanted it to happen, so they obviously didn't. So yeah, but no, watching that Yuri Bezmenov thing was like real eye opener. It's like he called it. He's like, he knew exactly what was happening.
Yep. But it's also stuff that, like, I'm not meaning to steal so many quotes from Asman, but he's had some really pretty good bangers this year. But it's the emotional, it's the suicidal empathy thing.
Yeah.
Yes, you can have empathy that, well, I don't even know that it's empathy, because empathy would imply that you know what it's like to be that person. And I know what it's like to be poor. I don't know what it's like to be a homeless person. They're vastly different.
Yeah, of course. And
So,
just quickly, yes, the KGB demoralization guy is the one I was talking about. Yuri Bezmenov, that's him.
but at the same time, though, like, you know, even homeless people will tell you that, like, if they've got people that are too crazy, it's causing problems for everybody. And no, you're not really helping anybody by letting them roam.
Yeah. And
yeah,
as it's frequently been pointed out, suicidal empathy isn't even empathy. It's more akin to narcissism, because them feeling good is more important than anything else. It's like, well, I feel like a good person if I say infinity migrants come into our country. So it doesn't matter that they're destabilizing the nation. What matters is that I would feel bad if they didn't do that. If I had to take a stand against them, I'd feel like a bad person. And I think I'm a good person, so I'm not going to support deporting like very clearly like violent criminal offenders, because that would be mean, and I don't want to be mean.
And for the record, I don't have a vast fear of homeless people. It's just, I know, I remember more of a range of homeless people, like some people trying to get off the street, some people struggling, some people with legitimate drug problems, because that's the reason they're actually on the street.
Yeah.
And then actually the natives, sometimes I think it's more to do with their own tribes. And that's a sticky story that I can't get involved in, because I couldn't tell it. I couldn't, because that's their business. It's literally, why are you on the street when you have, you know, a tribe? And I wouldn't be surprised if they said, like, well, they kicked me out, because that's been the response I've had before. And that sounds like sticky business.
Yeah, I mean, I think drugs is probably the main cause of
Hi,
problems
Johnny.
when it comes to homeless people. And R2Litu says, I'm too based. He doesn't know if he's allowed to listen to me in the UK.
Well, the thing up here, Terry, is sometimes with the natives it's drugs, sometimes it's booze, but every
Yeah, I mean,
once in a while,
I consider booze a drug.
yeah,
I put it in the same category, even like
yeah,
drugs and alcohol. Yeah.
it is if you're abusing it. It's just every once in a while I would meet a group where they were completely sober, they were aware of where they were, and I couldn't help thinking it wasn't just tribal politics,
Yeah, that could be.
and there was some violence up in our neck of the woods for the Cree, and I
Mm,
think it's been 2 times over the last 3 years where they had blows in their own tribe.
mm.
And one of those stories that I knew from like 2 years ago, that guy used to live on the streets in Calgary. Like I knew him because I gave the guy a bag of Cheetos. He was a
Okay.
little bit scary, but I'd taken the thought that week that I would try to be a little bit more generous to people around me because my mom was in the mood of being generous. And so I was like, well, do I really need this bag of Cheetos? No. And I thought it would last longer than an apple.
Yeah. Um, no, I've got nothing against helping homeless people. If that's, I mean, it's your money. If you want to help someone out, then yeah, good on you.
It
But
only
I do think you need to be a bit selective in which homeless people you give money to because uh,
well it,
not all of them are going to spend it on food. Let's say.
well it wasn't even like for that one it was fine because he wasn't really asking me for money. He asked for food.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then when I
that's a
gave
good
him, and then when I gave him food, he was happy to take it. At best, he was like, "Well, this is no name," and I was like, "Listen, they're $2 and they taste good."
Yeah. No, I mean,
So you know,
no, I mean, I've seen a variety of homeless people because I used to work in the city, and there were ones that you felt better giving money to than others because you could just like tell by looking. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna steer clear of this one, but this guy seems like a guy who is just down on his luck and could use a bit of help. So you can kind of tell just by looking, you know, which ones are which.
it's also something that I had stuck in my head from yet again childhood. So one of my social studies teachers had an opportunity up here to go to one of their son. I don't know how to say this, Johnny. I don't speak Cree, but it was one of their sun festivals, and those are like you don't just go to those. You have to really be invited because they're very traditional to a tribe. I don't know how to say the rest of the name, but she got one of those invites, and when you go to these things, no one will talk to you because you might have an invite, but you're not a part of the tribe. So
Right.
she ended up giving a smoke to one of the natives who was there because she was having a smoke and it kind of looked like he wanted one. And then he started talking to her because tobacco is unintentionally considered to be a sacred item because it's made with tobacco leaves. So
Okay.
by giving him a gift that was appropriate, she opened the door to a conversation. If she wanted to
Right.
talk to everyone in the tribe, though, she'd have to hand out a smoke to everybody.
Yeah.
Um, I know you ain't one of them. I'm just saying, like, this is stuff where I don't know if you remember anything from this shit or not. I don't know. This is how it was explained to me by her, and then I've had I've had the tradition explained to me through other means, like elders kind of explaining what this was about. But like I was 14, and kind
And
of immature, and like yeah, it's neat and stuff, but like you know.
because because we're on YouTube, I will simply say that Johnny can deny it all he wants, but we know he's a prairie doctor and engineer.
Just so you
But
know,
I can't say the actual end of that phrase on Minions. I can say it on other channels, but not this one. So yes, he's a prairie ne'er do well, a jogger, if you will.
Well, every group has their own traditions for that kind of stuff too. Like some of them do sweat lodges, some of them do other things. What she described sounded crazy, so I'm not going to describe that.
And prairie ginger. There you go. That's another one that Johnny has suggested himself.
But hey, I'm just saying, like I appreciate that my country's gone nuts. That's all I know.
Oh God, so is mine. I mean, Australia is right there with the UK and Canada in terms of retardation at the moment. That's why I'm really glad to see that One Nation is rising in the polls like crazy. I mean, I don't know that they're going to be able to win, but if they can take enough seats from the two major parties to make them scared, then maybe that'll at least start pushing things in the right direction.
I think they'll get more than people think, because even the normies are kind of sick of the top, like most of the main topics that Mr. Lowe has talked about. Even
Yes.
normies are kind of on board with some of it. Even the normies are like, okay, listen, we're getting a little bit. And then there's also the backlash from Brexit. People were sincere about Brexit. They really did want Brexit. That wasn't a joke. That wasn't a hint. That was the polite version of them.
Mm-hmm.
This is them being, okay, we're going to try again, and we're going to pick the most normal person that we can. And you guys are either going to go with this, or you're going to get the harder side of England. Because I think they are at that point, Terry. Like we're I've got, like, you know, Canada has a hell of a lot of problems too. Like it's more noticeable right now.
I don't know if that Rupert Lowe guy is actually going to be able to do all the things he's saying he wants to do, but I mean, he talks a good game, so I like him for that. But yeah, if he wins and he actually follows through on what he's saying he wants to do, he will be up there with Javier Milei as one of the few politicians that I don't mind.
It's just there's only so many ways that you can put it. Like they have a hell of a lot more to lose than we do too. Like, I'm not saying that without pride to my country. Like I still think that we have a lot to fight for too. But when I compare your history and everything that you have to lose for all of you, and I mean Ireland, I mean England, I mean Scotland, and yes, I do include Wales in that because they're being railroaded too. Mm-hmm. You have so much more to lose than we do. And you've already lost enough from the Germans. Don't lose the rest of it. You know, I know so many people that don't appreciate the little things that you have left based off of what is left. Like I know a lot of Manchester was leveled, and what I look at now is like after war Manchester. But you know, it's still a bomb shelter under that.
And I just want to correct Blue White Scream. She says all of our countries are run by insane people. No, they're run by evil people.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. It would probably be better if they were just insane. But no, they are sane. They are malicious. They are doing this on purpose. Yeah, I would like to go back to when I thought they were just insane. But the truth is far, far worse than that, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like everything that comes out lately just speaks of a vial that I thought we got rid of like 200 years ago.
Yeah.
Like a view of the people that you're supposed to, kind of lead as though, we're still your stupid cattle.
Well, I mean, one thing that is potentially good is that Zoran Mamdani who won in New York and has like fucked up so badly that maybe people will start to get the message that communism really is not good. Like apparently, like all of New York is like trying to get the fuck out because Mamdani is like raising property taxes and like everything's going to shit like it always does under communism. And it's like maybe this will finally get through to people. Maybe.
Not just communism. I don't mean to go there twice in a stream. It's also that he's caused a flux of the Muslims to kind of peel into New York.
Yeah, of course.
And they're trying to already pull the same kind of bullshit with the dogs and all the other crap.
Yeah,
And I'm
exactly.
like, that's all stuff that's going to have you losing, because like that's a you problem. You don't need to go around other people's dogs if you don't like dogs. Some people are allergic.
Yeah.
Some people generally
Well,
don't like dogs. We've dealt with that for hundreds of years, Mandami.
yeah, I mean, obviously everyone knows the answer, but the thing I've seen asked a lot is, if you don't like pork and dogs and all of the things that America is like proud of, why do you want to go there? Why not stay in your country that doesn't have alcohol, doesn't have dogs, doesn't have pork? Why not just stay home?
Yeah, it's a crazy thing. It's
Yeah.
a crazy
I mean,
thing.
obviously, the reason that they come to America is money. It's like, America is dumb enough to just hand out free money. So, like, yeah, let's go take some. And like, but yeah, I think if they kind of abolished all of the welfare, then the problem would solve itself.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and asylums.
Well, yeah, I mean that would help too. But no, but honestly, you get rid of welfare, all of the people who broke into America for the money will leave once there's no more money. And like if America says, "Yeah, we're not giving you any more money," they're like, "Well, I don't want to be here then. Bye."
Mm-hmm.
Like if we can't loot this place, then what's the point? So people will just leave of their own volition if they can't get free welfare money out of the country.
Yeah, I hope that's one of the things they do, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just against most forms of welfare in general. I don't think it's a good idea for the government to give money away to people. I think private charities are a great thing. I think if there's people who genuinely need help, there should be private charities set up to help them out. But I don't like the idea of the government just handing people checks for basically not doing anything, just being poor. Blue Ice Cream says most of these people will still vote the same. That is unfortunately true. I think things will have to get a lot worse than even New York is at the moment for them to actually realize how insane their communist beliefs actually are. And
They're also in double down phase, so
yeah, but no, I think there will come a point where even like the most diehard communist defender will be like, "Hey, remember when we used to have like stuff? That doesn't we don't seem to have that anymore." Hopefully that will get through to them. It might still take another 20, 50 years, but hopefully at some point things will get bad enough that they're like, "Hey, maybe we shouldn't do this communism thing," and then there'll be a a break in the insanity for a little while. Silver Raven Wing says that's why he's against reparations. Yeah, exactly. They'll just ask for more later on. Exactly. And I mean, honestly, ending slavery, that's their reparations. You're welcome. I think, I mean, obviously, I didn't do anything. I'm not American, but the prevailing attitude should be, yeah, you know how we freed you from slavery? That's your reparations.
yeah.
And then they'll say, "Oh, but you're the one who enslaved us in the first place, and who sold us the slaves." You don't seem too mad at the African warlords who sold their own people into slavery. So apparently, they're cool. They're fine. It's only the white man who's evil.
They still actually think that we marched into Africa, and I'm just like, no.
Mm,
There's like maybe 2 historical stories where white people had massive clashes with black
yeah,
people in Africa, and they're historical for a reason, but at the same time, we didn't march into Africa. Africa is massive. It's
it is.
multiple countries, and it's stupidly dangerous. And that's
Yeah.
coming from somebody from North America and somebody from Australia.
Yes. And yeah, R2Lee2 says reparations is taking money from people who didn't do anything and giving it to people who'd never suffered anything. I was like, yeah, it's completely insane. If this was like in the immediate aftermath of slavery, I could see a case for giving the people who were slaves some sort of compensation. But what is it, like 400 years later? Like, I don't know, however, like 250 years later. Yeah, none of those slaves are alive. None of those slavers are alive. There is no reason for anyone to be giving reparations to anyone else.
It's part of the dumbing down of our kids. It's something as simple as like, yeah, some kids don't know that chicken nuggets come from chicken. I wouldn't
That's
be
insane.
surprised if some of them don't view elephants as being like Dumbo and don't get
Yeah,
that. Like I adore elephants, but if I went to Africa, I'd be terrified if I saw wild elephants because I don't know. Like
yeah, true.
they're way more aggressive than you'd think, and if they've got a baby, there's a good chance you're out of luck.
Oh yeah, yeah. Any wild animal is dangerous. I mean,
And
unless it's being domesticated, like pet dogs and cats and stuff like that. A wild animal is incredibly dangerous.
there's a little bit of a trend that went on a couple of years ago that I had a question mark about, and it was certain safaris where the lions seem to just go into the cars and they're just super cuddly and stuff.
Hmm.
And then, like maybe a year or two later, I realized that that's probably more to do with where they're at.
Yeah, of
Like
course.
those places, the lions have gotten used to those vehicles as being kind of weird. But if you do that outside of those spaces where the lions are kind of used to their handlers or people who watch them or care for them a little bit,
Yeah.
the lions still take you out of the vehicle.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's why it was so insane when all these women are going around. I'm safer with a bear than a man. It's like, all right, uh, I'm, I'm not mean enough to hold you to that claim, but I think it would be funny if you encountered a bear, and just how quickly you changed your mind.
It's just that's how quick the internet is with fooling people, and that's why I always put things in like, well, I can understand this situation working because this is a reserve where they've rescued these animals. They've probably hand raised a bunch of these lions. They're
Yeah.
probably used to them driving in and out. I wouldn't doubt that they feed them before they go in. So yeah, they're probably cuddly, full,
Yes,
happy
of course.
kitties. But
I
like,
mean, they take safety precautions for those types of things because they wouldn't get a lot of repeat customers if people got mauled by animals every time they went on safari.
but then you've got like Westerners who are dumb, who don't know any of that shit or don't understand that, yeah, somebody's trying to make a sale to you. And they go
Yeah.
out in the middle of buckfuck nowhere in a Jeep and they're surprised that they got ate. And I'm just like, yeah, no, Winnie the Pooh isn't that nice unless he was hand raised.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, any kind of bear is from, not something to mess around with. They're dangerous. They're like, I remember I think it was on QI. They were talking about someone had a competition between I think it was a lion and a bear, and like people were taking bets on who would win the fight, and the bear just caved in the lion's skull with a single swipe of its claw. That's how lopsided the matchup was. The bear just insta killed the lion, and it's like, now think about how badly a lion would fuck up a human, and then a bear was able to fuck up a lion without even thinking. Bears are no joke.
Like it's just like that. Like, you've got people out here who will go up to like a buffalo or a moose, and they're like, "Hey, I'll just give you a carrot and I'll pet you," and then you're like, "No."
Yeah, I mean, it's not a good idea.
Like, no. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys have that too. Like, I would never go out and pet a kangaroo unless I knew it was a petting zoo. If it was a petting
Oh
zoo,
yeah, kangaroos will fuck you up.
like,
They've killed lots of people. If like if you go to a kangaroo thinking it's a pet, ooh, don't do that, because they've got like their feet. I think they've got like a thing on their foot, and they kick and they fuck you up. They'll like uh they'll kill you instantly.
yeah.
Then they're not cuddly like in cartoons.
And that's just it. Like, you never go up to something you don't understand. At best, you go to a petting zoo, and the people who run the petting zoo tell you what it is you are and aren't allowed to do. And that's what I mean about camels. That's how I know that they spit.
Yeah.
I've been to a petting zoo where they had a camel. They told us not to get too close. You know, there's always one kid in the crowd who thinks they're, you know, that they don't need to listen, and, you know, well, the camel spit on them.
Okay. And Silver Raven Wing says, fun fact, kangaroos have killed more people than marijuana. Yeah, I mean, I can believe that. Kangaroos, I mean, and like I said, any wild animal will fuck you up. It's not something to take lightly. You will die. And where was it? Blue White Scream says, did you see the woman who was mauled by a wildcat that she tried to take a selfie in front of? I didn't, but Jesus Christ, some people are dumb.
Yeah, so I don't take advice from these people because I find, like, I'm not saying that that's not on both sides, but I've seen it more on the side that believes everything that the news tells them to.
Yeah, I mean, I take it on a retard by retard basis. How stupid are the things that they're saying or doing, and then, you know, if it happens that there's more retards on the left than on the right, then yeah, that's just how it happens.
I mean, I've known some people who are brilliant too. It's just that I haven't talked to them in years, and I'm like, I'm sorry, you know. And everyone else is like, I don't talk to them.
Yeah. No, I think that's understandable.
Try to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to talk to people that that have silly ideas, but on Twitter I just don't bother because like you're not going to be dealing with someone who's trying to have a genuine conversation. They're just going to be like, well, retards. So like, but like if you know my brother's wife or girlfriend or whatever, who is like a rabid feminist, if she wanted to like argue with me, they are fine. I mean, she's still crazy, but I think she'd at least be more reasonable because she's like family.
Also, I was going to respond to Artalu. Yeah, the man of war jellyfish I think they're like the top 2 for most poisonous for the jellyfish. I can't remember. There's like 3 or 4 that are really, really bad, and they're like the top. But they're really pretty.
Jellyfish that'll kill you.
They're really pretty. Like they look like something you would get somebody who blows glass to make, because they're like an opaque pink, purple, and blue. I would never touch something from the ocean, just in general.
Yeah. And it went extremely quickly, but we have actually hit 2:00 my time, so that went quick. That was a very good stream. But we must call it quits. Ooh. So thank you for joining, Jen. Thank you for joining us, everyone in chat. I don't know when Hammer will be back. I'm thinking he might still be out of action next week. But at the very least, I should have an update regarding his improvement in terms of his health. So we'll be back next week. Hopefully Hammer will too, but don't take that as a guarantee. We're just hoping for the best here. See you guys later.
Have a good one, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming by. Artlu, you said to say Artu.
Artu, yeah.
I'm just gonna go with that. He's not wrong. Thanks for stopping
All
by, Ardu.
All right. See you guys.